They wanted to see a knockout. People wanted to see Conor McGregor unconscious at the end of this fight. I am not surprised at all we didn't see that. In fact, I would say this fight went perfectly for every single party involved. First off, there was an element to this fight that didn't get a lot of attention. A number of doctors came up before the fight and said it was unsafe for Floyd Mayweather to box Conor McGregor. Now, I think that's a bit extreme, right? They're both adults. These guys knew what they signed up for. Still, the fight organizers had to cover their ass. You couldn't have a bloody mess and Conor McGregor unconscious at the end of the fight. It would make certain people upstairs look bad. Can't do that. Can't have that. The other aspect this weekend was this was Conor McGregor's opening moment into a new world. Boxing. A sport where he can make a ton of money, way more money than Conor McGregor ever made in UFC. All Conor McGregor had to do this weekend was come out and put on a competitive showing. Can McConnor box? That's the question. Can he box? And if he can, how long will the fight last? And if he can fight, when will he fight again? My little brother Zane was a fighter, right? He used to get his butt kicked all the time. In fact, growing up, my brother and I would play pickup basketball in our driveway. We had a weird driveway. It was square, and it was square pavement, and then everywhere else was dirt. So we lived on a dirt road, had dirt all around us. So the way we played was we played to 21, and if you could hit a shot from off the dirt, off the pavement, that's a 2. If you scored on the pavement in the weird pavement square, that was 1 point. I won every single time. I kicked my brother's butt. My brother must have lost a game of basketball almost every day. My poor brother. But I remember this one day in particular where we actually played a close game. Months and months of Zane getting his butt whooped. He was in the game. It was 14-15. Maybe it was 15-16, but it was a really close game, and Zane was shocked. And Zane, we played at 21. I don't think Zane scored again the rest of the game. I went on to score, I think I won 14-21 or something like that. But Zane had hope. Zane was so excited. He finally was able to compete with his taller, older brother. Zane couldn't wait to play the next day, and eventually he even won a game. This Saturday was a huge victory for Conor McGregor. Everyone knew Floyd Mayweather was going to win the fight. The question was, how long would it take? The fight went 10 rounds. Even though they called the fight, who expected 10 rounds? That's like Zane, my little brother, being in a close game, 14-15 in basketball. After the close game, there was a chance he would win. The close game kept things interesting. It gave Zane hope. Conor McGregor will box again. In fact, I think because Conor McGregor wasn't knocked unconscious, that really helps him. It keeps people who allowed the fight from receiving flack. So Conor McGregor now was not considered endangered, which would have been ridiculous. Again, he makes his own decisions. But Conor McGregor not seeing stars was so good for him. First of all, it makes fans feel like, oh, he got robbed. He didn't get a fair shot to win. If Conor McGregor had been knocked out, I mean unconscious, like stiff, falling to the floor, that image would have been everywhere. Just imagine Time Magazine the next day or USA Today. That picture would have been everywhere. Because of how the fight ended, there's no horrific pictures of Conor McGregor getting knocked unconscious. There's no iconic knockout image. There's nothing like that. If that had happened, it would have been all over the internet, and we might have just written off Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor might have been completely irrelevant if he got knocked unconscious. No, this fight couldn't have gotten better for every party involved. First off, Floyd can walk off into the sunset. He's 50-0. He's the greatest boxer of all time. Cool. Undisputed. Conor McGregor was able to last 10 rounds with that guy. Conor McGregor lasted 10 rounds with the greatest boxer of all time. Yeah, they called the fight, but because he wasn't knocked unconscious and because of it ended, it's realistic to believe Conor McGregor could get a fight and he could be competitive in another boxing match. Maybe, hopefully, he will box Paulie Malignaggi, the sparring partner he had issues with leading up to the fight. And what's interesting to me is even though we all knew how the fight was going to end, everyone was still entertained. I recently went and saw Spider-Man Homecoming. We all know Spider-Man's not going to die in the movie. We know it's going to end. We know Spider-Man's going to beat the bad guys. But we're curious. How does it get to the point where Spider-Man wins? What happens in between? We know the beginning and the end. The middle is interesting. How long until Floyd wins? Can Conor box? Can Conor compete? We all expected the fight to end. This fight went exactly as we should have expected it. But it was awesome. And the fight was great for everyone involved. It was like the theme of this fight was a PR fight. It worked out perfectly for everybody moving forward.